Cowabunga! Don't have a cow. Trade you my skateboard for some pogs. Yes, this weekend, the black and gold brand goes all 90s. So it is time for your NXT TakeOver in your house predictions. Adam Pacitti will be live on the Cultaholic YouTube channel with live reactions on Sunday night. And then on Monday, what happened at Jack graded with myself and WTF moments with Ross. The usual shebang will be here on Monday. And how about this, right? The winner of the Cultaholic Predictions competition for TakeOver in your house wins themselves not a championship, not a Culty in the Bank briefcase, not a life-changing amount of scratch cards. No, the winner receives a signed copy of WWF in your house for the PlayStation. Look at this. Also, the winner is going to live stream this bad boy on the Cultaholic Twitch channel. It's going to be fun. Let's crack on with the predictions. First up, it's Mia Yim, Tegan Nox, and Shotzi Blackheart teaming up to take on Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel González. We've seen a lot of the baddies getting one up on the goodies as of late, haven't we? And I think this is the time that the goodies will prevail. So my prediction is a win for Mia Yim, Tegan Nox, and Shotzi Blackheart. 3 white-hot prospects in the women's division for NXT. Yay to the goodies!
This is pretty 50-50 if you ask me, but I'm gonna take the heels here because it plays into my thinking for a match later in the night, the match between Keith Lee and Johnny Gargano. Obviously, Candice and Mia Yim are the sort of de facto team leaders, if you can call them that here, so I think the heels are going to pick up a win. The babyface is going to win later in the night. I've given away my prediction for later in the night. We're off to a great start. Heels are winning here.
This one I don't really know much about, but looking at everybody involved, I'm going to say big feel-good opener, like victory for the faces. Let's go for Mia Yim and co.
So the match between the babyface team and the heel team 6 as I'm going to call them, I'm going to go for the heel team. I think that it's based on a later prediction in this video, but I think that first we're going to see this match earlier than the one I'm going to talk about later on, and the heels are going to win this one to set up a happier ending in the match later on. That's possibly the most vague prediction I've ever given, but it's my prediction and I feel confident about it. Come on, heel team 6, get the job done.
Next, Finn Bálor goes one-on-one with the Archer of Infamy, Damian Priest. And whilst this is very much due to be Damian Priest's comeuppance for attacking Finn Bálor, I think the win is going to Damian Priest. I think these two have got a much longer story to tell. And I think even if it's via shenanigans, we're going to see Damian Priest chalk up a big win over Finn Bálor. And I can see these guys dancing again in a month or so's time.
Finn Bálor versus Damian Priest. Interesting. No, it's not. It's the match, with the exception of the pretty thrown together 6-woman tag match that we just talked about. It's the match that I care the least about. There's something about Damian Priest that just isn't clicking for me, in the same way that Finn Bálor on the main roster never clicked for me either. But Finn Bálor is going to win this one. He deserves to win this one. I think they need to do something pretty special to make this match stand out, because right now, do you care?
Now, I really like Damian Priest. I just think that he has not really had that moment to shine yet, and this could potentially be it. If he goes over Bálor, this massive roadblock in his way, then surely he's cemented. We can move him on to bigger and bigger storylines. The guy has everything about him. I've said it since I was grading NXT. He has this sort of distinct look, like all the 90s stars used to have that distinct look, and I think he's going to go very far. So hopefully this could be the start of something huge for him.
This one's one that I'm feeling quite confident in, although the more I think about it, the more I'm almost convincing myself out of it. But no, I'm going to make what, in my mind, is the obvious pick of Finn Bálor. I think that Balor's going to win and then get jumped by, Imperium, reminding us all of that impending match with Walter whenever they can make it happen. But the more I think about it, the more I'm worried that they're going to use Bálor to get, a newer NXT star in Damian Priest, moreover. But I think that you can't have Bálor lose too many matches, and I think this isn't one of them. I'm going to go for Finn Bálor, but I'm a little bit worried about it.
The NXT North American Championship is on the line as Keith Lee faces Johnny Gargano. Now, I loved the whole dinner with the Garganos thing the other week. I really enjoyed Keith Lee and Mia Yim parodying it. But I think this is the night of Gargano. I think there are bigger plans for Keith Lee in NXT than the North American Championship. And I reckon that Gargano can be one of those guys that holds it and defends it against all comers, sort of championship challenge style. It's not the freshest idea, but I think it's one that Gargano could have fun with. But to do that, he needs the belt. So I'm sorry, Keith. I love you, and I won't forget about you. But the win is going to Johnny Gargano.
Now we're getting into it. I'm taking Big Keith here. You already know that. I already spoiled it earlier in the video. I'm taking Big Keith for a couple of reasons. First of all, what I said earlier in the night, I think the heels are going to win the 6-woman tag team match to protect Candice just a little bit. Obviously, she's only recently turned heel, but she's going to try and get involved in this match here, but it's not going to work out. And Keith Lee is going to retain his North American Championship. Expect Johnny Gargano to bump all over the shop for Keith Lee here. This one's going to be a brilliant match. Cannot wait.
As much as I feel like it's a bit of a dead cert that Johnny's going to walk out as North American champion, I'm just a huge Keith Lee fan, and I think if you look at Keith Lee next to him, he looks like he could tear Johnny in half, and I always want Keith to just be doing the best. Plus, Johnny and Candice have been sort of mean to Keith and Mia, so go on, Keith.
So this is the match that I was referring to in my first pick. This is the North American Championship match. Johnny Gargano taking on the champion Keith Lee. And because I think the heels are going to win the 6-woman tag match earlier in the night, hopefully, that's why I think that Keith Lee is going to retain here, possibly with the help of Mia Yim. Maybe Candice will run out and try and help Johnny, and then Mia Yim will come out and nullify that threat and allow Keith Lee to pick up the win and retain his title. That's probably the way I think it's going to go, but you never ever know. Johnny's already held that belt. I don't think he needs more gold in NXT right now because he's been so successful in the past, and I think that Keith Lee does. I think that he's still on the rise, and this North American title reign has new heights to take him to. So I'm going to go for Keith Lee, and I think also that it's probably going to be match of the night.
Next, Tommaso Ciampa goes one-on-one with Karrion Kross. It's a match that will be special, the words of both Ciampa and Kross. And it will be special. And it will also be a win for Karrion Kross. This is a big beginning for Karrion Kross, and I think a huge win over Tommaso Ciampa will very much put him in the right position. Whilst I'm predicting a lot of heel outcomes for this particular show, this is all building to something, so hold fire with it. I think Kross beating Ciampa sets Kross up really beautifully going forward, and they will no doubt clash again.
Whew, what an opponent to be getting for your first NXT TakeOver match. Arguably the greatest NXT champion, no offense Adam Cole, of all time, Tommaso Ciampa. It shows you just how invested WWE are in Karrion Kross, and you know, it's obvious. The way that he debuted, his entrance, everything about the guy, to me, screams star, and they're not going to have him lose his first big takeover match. It's going to be a barn burner. This is going to be so bloody good. Karrion Kross is picking up the win here. I'm sure of it.
It's got to be Karrion Kross, right? Like, the guy is the complete package. He has everything. Everybody's like hanging on him. Like, his debut was huge. It was probably the biggest thing that happened in recent NXT in terms of like mass appeal and the fact that everybody was talking about it. So I think all he needs now is a high profile win, and a win over Ciampa is possibly the highest profile win you can get in NXT.
Karrion Kross is going to win this one. I mean, Tommaso Ciampa's great, one of my favourite NXT superstars ever, but at the same time, Karrion Kross is new. He's clearly going to be on the receiving end of a huge push because look at him, and he's got Scarlett Bordeaux in his corner. So I just think that Karrion Kross is going to win, and it could even be a sort of Brock Lesnar, John Cena situation where the win is shockingly one-sided and straightforward for Karrion Kross. I'm not quite certain about that because Ciampa's obviously so resilient and so gritty, but at the same time, it would have quite a lot of impact if they booked it that way. Regardless of how it goes though, I'm going for Karrion Kross.
The NXT Women's Championship is on the line. Charlotte Flair defending against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Both Ripley and Shirai have it in them to be the one to take the belt from Charlotte Flair. But I don't think that's happening tonight. I think that it's going to be Rhea Ripley down the road that does it, but I don't think they're going to take the belt from Charlotte on this particular evening. However, there will be one hell of a match between these three, but it's going to be Charlotte leaving TakeOver still the NXT Women's Champion.
I think Rhea's winning here. And that's the right result. And the match will be brilliant too. But I'm a bit gutted that it's happening. Put simply, Rhea Ripley should have won at WrestleMania. I couldn't believe they didn't do it, and I think the reason that Io Shirai is now involved in this match is so that Charlotte doesn't have to take the pin. I really hope that they prove me wrong, but I really do think that's what it is. She should have won at WrestleMania. At first I thought, oh, okay, right, that's disappointing, but they're going to put Charlotte on NXT. Maybe that'll draw some eyes to the NXT brand. But then Charlotte has been popping up on every pissing brand going. It's complete Charlotte oversaturation, so it doesn't feel special that she's there on NXT. I'm baffled as to what they're doing. It'll be a great match. Rhea's going to win, I hope, but it's just a shame, isn't it?
For me, unfortunately, I think it's gotta be Charlotte. As much as I'd like to see Rhea or Io walk away with it, I just think they've pretty much just given her the belt. I don't see them taking it off her this quick. She hasn't even had a chance to perform in front of a real audience yet as, like, new NXT champion. So I think we've got Charlotte for a little while longer.
This is another contender in my mind for match of the night if they do it properly. And I'm gonna go for Io Shirai here. I think that, Rhea Ripley's already been NXT Women's Champion. Charlotte has already been NXT Women's Champion, but she is again, obviously. But I think it's now time for Io Shirai. I'm basing this all on one thing, so it could be quite a risky pick. Basically, the way that the NXT Women's division is set up at the minute, I don't think they would have anybody in the entire division, anyone on the roster, beat Charlotte Flair. I think that Vince would have some kind of heart attack if they did that. However, I think that this being a triple threat match, they can afford to have the title change hands without Charlotte taking the pinfall. I can just see the finishing spot in my mind. I can see Charlotte having Rhea Ripley in the figure eight. Io comes off with a moonsault onto Ripley. 1, 2, 3. That's just how I think it's going to go. That's a very specific prediction. I'll tone it back a little bit and just say that I think Io Shirai will be the new NXT Women's Champion.
The NXT Championship is on the line in a backlot brawl as Adam Cole defends against the Velveteen Dream. And I believe this is the night that belongs to the Dream. He's come so close on so many occasions. And I feel like if you don't hit the go button now on the Dream, you're going to see that ball of momentum start rolling backwards. So what a great time to do it. What a great environment to do it in a backlot brawl. Something that will look amazing in highlight reels for years to come. And this will be the night that Velveteen Dream becomes the NXT champion.
Until this week's episode of NXT, there was no chance in hell that I was going to choose anyone other than Adam Cole to win this thing. He is the longest reigning NXT champion ever, and he's doing a damn fine job of it. Then they aired that video package on NXT, and the way that Velveteen Dream was presented made me think, hey, maybe he does have a chance. That's very much down to WWE's amazing production people. Good job, guys. That on its own would not have been enough. But then the news broke that Adam Cole's WWE contract is expiring fairly soon, he's not renewed, and then his real-life partner, Britt Baker, does an interview where she says that hopefully before long, Adam Cole might be wrestling in AEW, he might be wrestling the likes of the Young Bucks, of Kenny Omega. Is that a bargaining tool? Is that her trying to get Cole more money? Is that her trying to make Vince and Co panic? I don't know, but it's enough for me to choose Velveteen Dream. I'm probably going to regret that. I'm taking Velveteen Dream here. Come on, Triple H, give me VD.
So for this match, I think I'm going to go for Cole. It just makes a little bit too much sense that the era could get involved here, cost Velveteen Dream the chance at going for the title ever again while Cole's champ, sort of protecting his reign. So I think that obviously they're going to get involved, something's going to happen, eventually out of the back of it, it'll all be rolled back for Velveteen Dream, but I do think they are going to secure an Adam Cole win here to keep him safe.
And finally, this backyard brawl, bunklot, what is it?
Backlot Brawl.
Backlot Brawl.
I think.
What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of a bunkhouse.
You're thinking of a bunkhouse.
I'm thinking of a bunkhouse brawl. It's not that. It's a backlot brawl between Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole. Obviously, if Dream loses, he can never challenge for the title again as long as Cole's champion. This is a hard one to call. I'm just going to go for Adam Cole because I feel like his reign has been so good and so long that whoever beats him is going to have a huge, massive babyface reaction because of it. And I would like to see NXT wait until live crowds are back before they do so. I just don't want to see the title change hands in one of these cinematic matches in this circumstance. So voting more with my heart more than my head, I'm going to say that Adam Cole retains.
So those are your predictions, live reactions with Adam Pacitti on the Cultaholic YouTube channel on Sunday night. And then we have what happened at, graded, and WTF moments to follow the next day. And of course, the prize, the winner, whoever gets the most of these predictions correct gets themselves a signed copy of WWF in your house for the PlayStation 1. And you'll get to see them streaming this bad boy on the Cultaholic Twitch channel as well. There's going to be some fun to be had. I mean, why play a hyper-realistic wrestling game when you can play this one, which features The Undertaker shooting green skulls at you? Wrestling! Enjoy in your house. Stay safe. Love you, bye.